Hey guys, long time no see. I'm not doing the best right now, and I kind of just wanted to talk about how I'm doing. I don't know, maybe 5 videos ago, I mentioned how I'm on this journey to make my health better because I've gained a little bit of weight, so I'm trying to lose weight. Well, things got very real today because I went and got a biometric screening and was told that I have prediabetes, that I'm pre-diabetic. I feel like I have to take my health more seriously now. And I was talking with my girlfriend, trying to figure out just kind of like a plan of what to do to be healthier. It just feels difficult because all my life I was healthy and I just never had to think too hard about what I was doing with my body physically or what I was eating. And now it's like my metabolism is so slow and the smallest amount of sugar affects my body. It makes me gain weight. The lack of physical activity every day really makes a difference on my body. And so it kind of makes me feel a little depressed that now I have to put so much effort and like really focus a part of my daily life on being healthier. One thing is just working out more. Currently, I work out a few times a week, but it's not every single day. I'm not very consistent. It's just I find it hard to be consistent because something always comes up that makes going to the gym uncomfortable or not as preferable to me. One way I was trying to mitigate this was that instead of taking the elevator at work, I've been trying to take the stairs up and down to try to get more steps in a day. And also I've been trying to go on walks around the building during lunchtime. And so I think just continuing to do those things will help. When it comes to exercise, some of my holdups end up being that either I'm not exercising hard enough or I'm overexerting myself. I fall into the overexertion category very easily. And once I overexert myself, I usually end up hurting my muscles and then being out of commission, unable to exercise again for a few days, which of course doesn't help with consistency. So I can't really do things like lifting weights because even when I use a small weight, somehow I end up injuring myself. I have to stick to body weight exercises. And for the most part, I have ones I like doing. But you know how sometimes you go to work out and then for some reason the workout is just not amazing. Like everything feels difficult. You can't catch your breath. Your muscles feel super weak. Like when I have days like that, it just demotivates me. It makes me not want to work out again. And so I end up not working out daily. It's not great. And it's just crazy because my girlfriend, she's the type where she works out every single morning. Like she's good motivation and inspiration, but I'm just not exactly like her, you know? And then when it comes to eating, for the longest time I was not eating right. I was overeating, eating way too many snacks, and eating too much sugar. For the past 2 weeks, I've done pretty good on cutting down on sugar and I've gradually begun eating less. And so that's getting better, but I still have to deal with whenever the challenge comes up, you know, when the temptation to overeat or eat sweets comes up. And with drinking water, I used to drink like a gallon a day and then I fell off, which is normal. Over the years, I've always fallen on and off of drinking a gallon of water a day. And so now I'm trying to get back on that train because it is good for you and your body. And overall, there's like a lot of negative side effects I get when I don't drink water. I don't know if anyone else gets them, but like my skin is very dry and doesn't look good. And like that makes me feel insecure. And then like I'm always feeling thirsty. My body temperature won't regulate itself very well. I just have all these different side effects that make my body uncomfortable when I don't drink enough water. So drinking more water is really not going to be too much of a challenge. I think that'll be the easiest thing to do, actually. And I'm grateful for that. I'm so grateful that it will be pretty easy. In terms of working out, realistically, what's realistic for me right now is doing yoga and walking/jogging on the treadmill. I'm afraid to jog sometimes because sometimes my knee, ankle, foot coordination is not together. And I end up getting like the pain in my shins. And I know it's not good to like run and get pain in your shins because you can get shin splits. And so I try not to overdo jogging because I don't want to hurt myself. And they say that walking is one of the most effective exercises, that you don't have to run in order to be healthy. But I do feel like walking gets kind of boring after I've done it day after day after day, you know? The other option is to do yoga. And I really enjoy doing yoga. It's good for my physical, mental, spiritual well-being. And I don't know why I don't do it every single day. I tell myself I'm going to. I do it every day for like 4 days, and then I just fall off. It's kind of annoying. I don't know why. Sometimes I think yoga isn't enough of an exercise, but also yoga is what you make it. And like, I can only withstand doing videos that are 10 to 20 minutes long. I've tried doing 30-minute videos and I usually tap out. But I guess I feel like now that I have this pre-diabetes, I kind of feel like I don't have the option of tapping out. I feel like I have to just do these things even though I don't really want to anyways. And I feel like the overall theme of my life is my body has always forced me to be healthy. And I feel like, once again, it's forcing me to be healthy by giving me a pre-diabetic diagnosis. It's forcing me to have to make different decisions that it doesn't matter what I feel like doing in the moment. It's what matters is my health. My mental health has not been doing so great. It's definitely not like an all-time low or anything like that, but I've been struggling. I recently increased one of my anxiety medications. I increased Abilify. I increased the Abilify, and I don't know if it's the increase in Abilify or maybe the increase in my weight, which is making the medication less effective. All the medication I take less effective, which I take 2 medications total. Well, technically 3, 2 to 3. And I don't know if weight gain starts to make the amount that the dosage you're given less effective, but I feel like it might. And maybe because I've gained weight, I just feel like I'm not getting the happiness that I used to get. I'm not getting the relaxedness I used to get. Like, even right now, my neck is a little tense. And I've been dealing with this neck tension for the past 2 days. I don't know what it is, but it's very intense in my neck during work. And I feel it in my tongue even. And I just feel like all my anxiety is manifesting itself right in my throat area, which makes sense. That is a place where anxiety likes to go. My point is, I'm not sure if it's the medication increase or just my weight increase, but this medication that I'm on, the fluoxetine, which is Prozac, the Abilify, it's not hitting the way it used to hit. And I don't know when my next psychiatry appointment is. Let me see. Okay, I have like a month. I guess I'll have to go over these things with her. It's so hard to track your mental health because for a couple days things will be good and then a couple days things will be bad. And it's just like it goes back and forth. And I just hate having mental health issues. Like, it's very frustrating. With me feeling like my meds are less effective, one thing that happened that made me think that is that I almost passed out at work. And it was in front of my coworkers, and they had to stop everything and take care of me. And they almost called the ambulance, but I declined it. And it turned into this whole episode. HR got involved. Don't feel exceptionally embarrassed about it, but I do feel some embarrassment because it's just like, it makes me feel like I'm falling apart at the seams. Like, and it makes me feel like, oh my gosh, this could happen again. And it makes me feel like, oh my God, like this is interrupting my work life. Like, and then I'm embarrassed because I got HR involved and told them that my management was making me feel pressured. In the end, they told my management was apparently really surprised, which I'm not surprised they were surprised because, like, how would they have known? I didn't communicate to them. And I feel like in the end, I wish I had communicated to them myself, but also I feel like HR doing it was better than me trying to do it. I don't know. I feel like the HR lady wasn't really on my side. I feel like she was talking in a soft, nice voice as if she was on my side, but really the content of her words just, I feel like she was just confused by my situation. She didn't understand what issue I was having and what I found wrong with my boss's approach. And I like my bosses. I think they're good people and good bosses generally, but I just feel like they were a bit flawed in the amount of pressure they were applying to me being like perfect at things whenever I'm barely 2 months in at this new job. And just having a new job period gives me anxiety. Being new at a job naturally gives me anxiety because you wonder where you fit in and where you're useful. At least that's what I wonder. And I always feel like I'm not doing enough, to fulfill my role. And so, yeah, I basically had the panic attack because we have these meetings in the morning called stand-up. And on Mondays, they're intense because it's a lot of information exchange. And I was there typing and mistakes kept coming up that could have been pointed back to me. And I got in my head that my boss was going to get mad at me. And that thought just swirled in my head and made me get hot and dizzy. And I began to pass out. So now my job has brought up the idea of accommodations, which is good. But the process for getting these accommodations is kind of like, I don't know, it's weird. It was like hard to get in touch with the people through over the phone and through their website is jank. And I finally got the paperwork, but they didn't tell me what to do with the paperwork. And so I was confused at first, but now I know I have to fill out part of the paperwork and then give the rest to my health provider and then turn it into HR, I think, or turn it in back to the company that HR works with that does accommodations. And I'm thinking an accommodation that could be it is that instead of me physically sitting in on our morning stand-ups, maybe I can remote myself in, because I think with less people around me, it'll feel like less pressure. And at the stand-up, what I do is I scribe. I basically have to listen to what everyone's saying and write down notes, but they're very like abbreviated notes, and it's like some numbers, some state abbreviations, because my company is a recruiting company. I don't believe in admitting to your workplace that you have mental health issues. But in my situation, I passed out in front of everybody and they were like, what's wrong? What's wrong? Is it blood sugar? Is it this? Is it that? So I end up having to tell them like, no, I have an anxiety problem. I have a panic disorder. And sometimes I pass out from it. It's just never happened at work before. So I end up kind of having to admit that. They know generally that I have meds that I can take. Even though it's not like great, I think for people in the workplace to know all that, I kind of feel relieved, because I feel like my bosses might go easier on me knowing that I'm fragile in this way. Every day it's hard wearing a mask and pretending like I'm not struggling and I'm not having a hard time and like I don't have an anxiety disorder. It's very hard. And so I kind of find it relieving that I can finally just let it be out in the open. And I feel like this is the type of work environment where I won't get like, fired or let go from my job. The last thing I want to talk about was exposure therapy. So pretty much with all my issues that I bring into therapy, whether it's about like intrusive thoughts about my relationship, like ROCD, relationship OCD, or OCD in general, or work anxiety, or just any of those things, my therapist has said that exposure therapy will help me. And we've kind of just been talking about exposure therapy for the longest time without actually doing it. So during this next session, which is tomorrow, I think I'm going to tell her straight up that I just want to dive right in and do the exposure work, because I feel like there's no point in bringing up my problems when the answer is always going to be exposure. So yeah, I have a therapy appointment tomorrow during lunch. I'm going to do it from my car, and we'll see if she lets us go into doing exposure, because I'm tired of feeling this way and living like this. And like I said, this is not the worst it's ever been, but I don't know, after having that Monday pass out session, it's just been hard to stay strong mentally. And they were nice to me when I passed out. They treated me very well, my coworkers, and took care of me, and they let me go home for the rest of the day. And I think I've conveyed everything I want to convey. So yeah, that's how my life is right now. I don't know, I put this out here because I know someone else is going through it and needs to see someone like them going through it too, to not feel so alone. Having a job is hard, maintaining a job is hard, but I love having money to spend. Like, it's so nice to spend money on experiences and things. So I will continue to hold down a job, but I will say living with an anxiety disorder does make it hard to hold down a steady job. It can make it hard to hold down steady relationships. I was diagnosed with OCD, and in the past I was diagnosed with generalized anxiety and panic disorder. So I don't really know what I truly have. My current therapist said that the diagnosis can always change, but in general I have anxiety disorder. So that's the general gist, and some depression, because whenever does anxiety not occur with depression? Like, they're basically buddies, they're best friends, they're comorbid. Thanks for being here. I genuinely do appreciate the few of you who watch my videos. I like to think that if enough people watch my YouTube videos, maybe one day I could quit my job and make money off of YouTube. Because isn't that what everyone's trying to do these days?